Hi viewers, welcome back with Mind Engineer Muhammad Ali for another interesting body language analysis of the two most important people on the earth today, I guess, President Joe Biden of USA and President Putin from Russia. They had a meeting very recently. I know I'm a bit late in doing this analysis, but I wanted to take time because I wanted to analyze different videos at different levels and see what they were doing. So without further ado, let's dive down into this video, and I'll take you to the first the first picture that is in front of you. I'm taking it, starting it from the picture. This picture actually tells you a lot of story. The whole story is very evident here. If you see at the President Putin, he is standing a little bit aloof, hand straight. In his power body language, you see this president, who's conducting, who's the host president, having his hands a little bit off, relaxed, clamp. But if you see President Putin here, President Biden here, he is completely closed his body. Yes, I know somebody would say it doesn't look like close, but it is. Technically, all three of them have closed their buttons, which is also another example of closure of a body. But let's move a little bit forward and see how this is proceeding. He's using his hands, and he's welcoming President Putin. And if you see this smile on President Putin's face, you will, here you go. See, this is where he's acknowledging his smile, his gestures, and then he, immediately after the smile, he moves away and looks away, which can be a reason to look at the press that I am present here, or I see your presence, or I'm not interested anymore to look further. It can be both of that. So basically that's what he does, and then he comes back as well. He does a little bit of swallowing and a little bit of gestures, and if you see, in the meantime, President Biden, he is standing in a very close manner, soothing himself. This is a self-soothing gesture. And then comes the most important part of the meeting. If you see, this is where I want you to focus on the handshake. It's a complete science. Now if you see this handshake, you, before that, even if it starts, President Putin is standing in a position where he will be, his full arm will be seen by the public. He will be in a more power position than President Biden. So that is something which is probably, I don't know, pre-planned, or it wasn't, but that's one of the things that is noticed, who takes the upper hand. And if you notice, President Putin is not moving. He's not interested in his movement. But if you see President Biden, he takes his first step. So this is another point. I mean, the point scoring is going on. So President Biden scores 1 point, and let's see how President Putin counters that. So the minute President Biden raises his hand, President Putin makes the first move and does the shake. So and then the shake is actually very symmetric, and then they both move in. President Biden does the bye to the press, and then followed by President Putin. Now if you see, once they enter the room, you see the sitting postures. President Biden is sitting in a more, they both are sitting, President Putin and President Biden, they both are sitting in alpha male positions, if you want. They are more in a power positions, with one leg up as well as two legs crossed. However, the difference here is that President Biden is tilted towards President Putin. His toe is facing towards him, whereas President Putin's toes are facing away from President Biden, and his knees, his body, his torso and his toes are moved away. He is not inclined, he's not bent towards President Biden. So if you see this one, this picture is actually worth millions of words, and it shows the whole story, and the gestures they are making are also worth seeing. They are doing some talks for the camera, because the cameras are there. By the way, if you notice, the setup also is very interesting. There are some flowers, there is a globe, and it looks like a library with the presidents sitting with their flags at the back. So it shows basically what it shows to me is that the whole world is between the two flags. That's an interesting one, right? So, um, so here you go. President Putin is simply relaxed and talking, but President Biden immediately. I've noticed President Biden wants to hold his notes uh, very much, which I don't know why. He probably is not good in his extempore or what. I am not sure, but that's what he does. So there are gestures which are very interesting taking place between the two of them. I will further down. I will show you some more stuff, interesting one.
Right.
So and then here we go to an interesting talk, and here I want you to listen to what he's saying, and then I will come back with my analysis. So if you
could work together with Russia, for example, in Libya, we should be opening up the.
This was a talk which President Biden did before he met President Putin, and instead of saying Syria, he was supposed to talk. This question was about working together with Russia in Syria, and this shows me how ill-informed, probably, or not up to date, is President Biden right now, that he's saying Libya, and if you listen to it further, you will understand what I mean.
The passes to be able to go through and provide food assistance and vital assistance to a pop.
Vital assistance. See, he does not even know what he's saying right now. I know that you're thinking, how do I say that? But that's what body language analyst would tell you. Anybody would tell you.
Population that's in real trouble. I think I'm going to try very much hard to.
I'm going to try very hard. So he doesn't have words. He starts looking down, which is his habit, I guess. He looks a lot of time. He looks down, looks away from the questioner. So he's doing things which are not actually very encouraging.
And by the way, there's places where I shouldn't be starting off and negotiating in public here, but.
And he realizes his mistake. That's why he says, I shouldn't be negotiating. Shouldn't, again, is a very qualifying word, by the way.
Let me say it this way. Russia has engaged in activities which we believe are contrary to international norms, but they have also bitten off some real problems they're going to have trouble chewing on. And for example, the rebuilding of Syria, of Libya.
Here you go again, rebuilding of Syria and Libya. So he is really not sure what he's talking about. He has no idea probably why he's doing what he's doing, but that's how he's doing this one.
They're there, and as long as they're there without the ability to.
And I'll show you something more interesting when I go to his question and answers Q&A session. If you see his Q&A session right now, so yes, viewers, let's see what he has to say in his press conference. I have taken some extracts of it, so let's see.
Now I'm happy to take some questions.
He says he's happy to take some questions, but there's no happiness seen anywhere, and he's looking down. So he is absence. As I always say, absence of an emotion is also a red flag.
Okay. Down with Vladimir Putin and Russian aggression that came up in your conversation. Give you my follow-up right now.
The minute he hears, let me show you that again. The minute he hears about Vladimir Putin and the question which is asked about Vladimir Putin, I want you to please focus on him. If you will see what he does that right now. You see this one. This one. This is fear, and then he swallows.
And Russian.
See, he swallows. So fearing is, I don't know why, is probably some kind of fear or surprise. I won't say surprise, it's actually a fear, because he is probably not expecting, or he doesn't know the answer. I don't know, but that's whatever the reason is, I have no idea. Okay, let's move forward.
Russian that came up in your conversation. Give you my follow-up right now. You've met Vladimir Putin before.
And this is another very interesting thing which he has done a lot of times in this talk, and I want you to notice that the minute she says, this is, if you see this one, this is a contemptuous smile. He's smiling with a contempt. Now, whatever the reason for his contempt is, that is not my concern.
Met Vladimir Putin
So it's a
before.
contemptuous smile.
I'll tell you all that when it's over.
And then he does exhale of relief. Oh, I have handled this question. So this is another interesting one.
Look, I've been doing this a long time.
Now he's very congruent. He's looking at the questioner. He's answering him straight. And then he just turns away again.
Is negotiate in front of the world press as to how he's going to approach a critical meeting.
Now he is completely avoiding the questioner here. And I've noticed that he does that. From the most of the questioners, he moves away from their question. When they're asking, he's answering them, he moves away. He has this habit.
With another adversary and or someone who could be an adversary. So last thing I'm going to, we're responding kind. There need not be. We should decide where it's in our mutual interest.
So he has a congruent, forceful hand gesture. That's very congruent to what he's saying. Yes, we're so move forward.
Cooperate.
And I also have two questions about
Again, the minute he hears a question about Vladimir Putin, he puts on a contemptuous smile. It's a contemptuous smile. I'm saying it again.
Vladimir Putin. The first is, have any of the world...
And he has a habit of holding self-soothing things. You know, he's holding this paper in the questionnaire in his hand all the time. Throughout, you will see that he just leaves it when he has to say something forcefully. Otherwise, he looks down, looks away from the questioner, holds this piece of paper.
Leaders you've met with this week expressed concern that...
And he keeps looking down and playing with his papers.
By meeting...
Then he takes a sigh of relief.
What's your second question?
And he does not have a direct answer, so he asks her to say the second question so he can buy some time.
The second question is what it will mean for the U.S.-Russia relationship if...
And if you notice, now he's relieved. Okay, that's an easy one. I'll handle them together now.
Alexei Navalny were to die or be killed in prison.
That spoke today, and most of them mentioned it. Thanked me.
Now, while answering to one of the questions, he just claps his hand and starts to close down his body language, which is again something which he does when he's not interested in people to ask him counter questions.
Me for meeting with Putin now.
And he does not have, I mean, the way he's saying is his tonality, his gestures are not congruent right now.
Every
qualifying statement of now he has used, and then he's saying every word one by one.
Single one.
Every single one. So it's
and
a qualifying tone.
They thought was important from their...
And then he immediately holds the podium. Let me show you that again. He was okay. Then he holds the podium to go for a self-soothing gesture.
And what they thought was not important. And so the interesting thing is, I know, and I'm not being critical.
Here he uses his hands to actually emphasize and say, listen to me.
For the press, I really mean this, give my word. But generically, you all thought it was Biden meeting him too soon. I haven't found a world leader who doesn't think it's not soon. It's just soon enough.
Again, he's trying to say things which probably he has some issues in saying, in accepting inside his heart. So you'll see a lot of fumbles with him.
Everyone that I've spoken to, privately and publicly, doesn't mean there aren't some out there.
And he puts his right hand in the pocket. If you see this one, I know there's a spelling mistake. Why it said become way, but that's fine. I'm explaining that he's put his right hand in the pocket. Why? That's my question.
But it's not like
here you go.
That
see his hand goes in the pocket,
and
it remains in the pocket.
Navalny's death would be another.
And then he's answering a question which is definitely not answering from a paper, but he keeps looking down, avoiding the questioner.
Indication.
And he is starving for words.
That Russia has little or no intention of abiding by.
Brings hands out, clamps them again, closes his body.
Basic, fundamental
And if you notice that, that's written over here as well. And again,
fundamental
maybe.
human rights. It would be.
Thank you. In a weekend interview, Vladimir Putin.
Again, both hands go into pocket, which is not very, normal for somebody at that level to do.
Laughed at the suggestion.
He goes tall. If you notice, he puts his body up. He goes tall, so he's gaining some.
That you had called him a killer. Is that still your belief, sir, that he is a killer?
Again, a contemptuous smile is coming.
And I'll continue the trend.
There you go. See, a contemptuous smile is back again when he says Putin is a killer.
If you don't mind, I'm asking a second question. Do you believe if he does agree to cooperate,
he's heavy breathing because he has been asked a very tough question, I believe.
then what kind of a challenge do you find yourself in? How would you...
Contemptuous smile with eyes closed and a laughter. Now, this is what he's saying because he does not have an answer. So whatever he's going to say right now, interesting.
Answer the first question. I'm laughing too.
So he's done a good act. Let me put it this way.
They actually, well, look, I mean, he has made clear that
he has no answer. He has no answer. See, very long pause.
the answer is, I believe he has in the past essentially acknowledged that he was, there are certain things that he would do or did do. But look, when I was asked that question on air, I answered it honestly. But it's not much of a, I don't think it matters a whole lot in terms of this next meeting we're about to have.
Here I want you to notice two things. He uses the word but. Now, in the way our mind processes information is, if anything that is said before but actually is nullified. So, no matter what he's saying right now, he still believes what he said earlier. He still believes Putin to be a killer. When he says, I said that, but, so it means he's nullifying that, probably, right? Or he's nullifying the second part. So he is nullifying one of the parts. And he's agreeing that Putin is a killer, but it does not matter. It's a weird statement. It's a red flag to me.
The second
here at this meeting and earlier at the G7, you've said
he presses his lips a lot. Probably he's hiding emotions. I'm not sure.
several times that America's back at allies' side. But a lot of those allies are themselves pretty rattled by what happened on January 6th in attempt
I want you to notice the reaction on January 6th.
overturning of your election.
Swallowing again.
And they may still be alarmed by the continued hold that Donald Trump has over
And immediately short of breath. His breathing is like as if he's short of breath. If you notice this breathing now, this is not normal breathing. He's opened his mouth, taking more air from inside from mouth. So he's basically losing his breath. So this could be anger, this could be frustration, or this could be, I don't know.
next president of the United States can keep any promises you make.
Well, as I've said before, don't doubt that I mean what I say.
Go ahead, holds paper whenever he wants to change or self-soothe and uses words as don't doubt rather than keep faith, moving away. When you say don't, I don't want to lie, it means you want to move away from lying. But if it is better to say I want to be honest, I am honest. So he's qualifying words which is like negative connotations. He's moving away. In normal language patterns, when I teach in NLP, I always tell that use towards words, not the away words. So he uses a lot of away words.
And they believe that I keep my commitments when I say it. I would suggest that there is a
again, pressed lips, hiding of some emotion, and then he's using words, qualifying words again like suggest. In this sentence, I would appreciate viewers that if you can see the full video. This is a for 20-30 minutes video that I'm working on.
The leaders I'm dealing with in NATO and the G7 are leaders who know our recent history.
Very nice, holding the ball kind of, which you say in body language, it's like holding the ball in your hand. Like Steve Jobs used to do that. So very nice gesture here.
Know generically the character of the American people.
And if you notice, he is now telling what he believes. So his body language, his gestures, his eye movements, his hand movements, everything is different.
And know where the vast center of the public stands. Not Democrat, Republican, but who we are. We're decent, honorable, and saying what we believe to be the case, not engaging in the overwhelming hyperbole that gets engaged in by so many today.
Here you go. This gesture engaging, and then this gesture is normally we say use this gesture when you are hiding something or feeling ashamed of something. I don't know what he's doing using this, because this is an unintentional gesture. This is subconscious. This is not a real thing.
That I think this is passing. I don't mean easily passing. That's why it's so important that I succeed in my agenda.
If you notice now, left hand is still in the pocket and he's gesturing from right, and then suddenly both hands come up
The
and
agenda,
open
whether
more
it's dealing with the vaccine, the
expressing,
economy,
so his hands are more
infrastructure.
expressing.
It's important that we
Here
demonstrate
you
we
go.
can make progress.
Second hand comes
We
out, and
continue to
that's
make
what he's saying
progress.
right now
And I
is
think we're going to
exactly
be able
what
to
he
do that.
believes. So, viewers, as I was mentioning, this was just a small presentation again from my side on the body language of Putin and Biden. So, signing off from Mind Engineer Muhammad Ali, and as always, looking back for your feedback. That will be interesting for me. And please, I know you like it, so do share it and do subscribe. Thank you very much.